G'day mates, in today's video I want to kick off talking about this new shotgun that just got leaked ahead of next season. It's looking like a new and even better Primal Shotgun. And I don't mean better than the Primal Shotgun after it got nerfed, better than the Primal Shotgun before it got nerfed. Also, we've just had another LAN event announced. We now have Dreamhack Dallas and it's taking place before Sweden, another huge solo event that you guys in NA might be able to go to. Also, we had a big announcement for the console scene. We had the next PlayStation tournament announced, and we have our first news on what is going on with the Console Champions Cup. Is there going to be a console FNCS this season? They finally made mention of it in this blog post. So there's a lot to cover. Let's just jump into it. There's a good chance you haven't seen this because I don't actually think it got enough attention. We had a leak come out today from Hypex about how Epic are working on a new shotgun similar to the Primal Shotgun that could be coming out next season. And wait until you hear the stats of this gun. It has 8 bullets. It reloads 2 at a time for 6 seconds. It shoots 2 bullets at a time with a fire rate of 0.85, faster than the Striker and Pump. 54 damage at common rarity with a 75 headshot, and 66 damage at legendary with 95 headshot per bullet. And Hypex made that last part very clear, and this is what concerns me. Does that mean this thing at legendary rarity is gonna shoot faster than the Striker, shoot 2 bullets at a time, and if you hit both headshots with the legendary rarity, you're gonna do 190 damage with 8 in the clip? And it reloads 2 shells at a time. Like, there is no chance this shotgun goes in the game unless I'm reading that wrong. And if I am reading that wrong, if it does just do 95 damage headshot, but only that counts as the maximum damage, maybe the stats, I don't know how the stats show. Hypex didn't actually show how the stats kind of like come from the files, but I've got to imagine it's the 2 shots can equal maximum of 95 damage to the head. And then basically you just have the drum shotgun, but it shoots in like kind of 2 bursts rather than just continually holding it down. And that makes a bit more sense because very clearly Epic wants a gun that functions like the drum shotguns. They've just buffed it. They clearly like the way it works because they looked at it in its current form and then buffed it to make it even stronger. But then why would they not just use the drum shotgun? And again, this doesn't confirm this is coming next season, but quite often when they start working on guns like this, it's usually because we see them in at least 1 or 2 seasons time. It doesn't mean it's going in competitive either. And I have to imagine that a gun like this would not go into the game this strong, because the last time we saw a gun like this, a Primal Shotgun, which is what Hypex is describing it like, it got nerfed through the ground. Remember when the Primal Shotgun dropped in Primal season, it was horrendous. It was one of the worst metas we've seen. Everyone hated it. Even casuals hated it. Almost no one liked the Primal Shotgun when it first came out, and it got nerfed about 3 or 4 times to bring it back to the point it was at the end of Primal, when almost no one was using it at the end of Chapter 2 Season 6. So unless they've had a huge backflip 180 in their philosophy around the game, it would make no sense they would have a gun that was like this, nerf it 4 times, and then bring one back that's even stronger. So either I'm reading the stats wrong, or there is a good chance the gun does not release at its current state. But either way, I thought I would mention it because some people were talking about it and everyone kept asking my opinion on it. But also at the same time, the tweet itself didn't really get as much attention as I thought it would. So next season could be interesting. It's a summer season, which we know normally leads to being more of a casual season, but a lot of people have described the last 2 seasons with the SMG spray meta as being more casual. So as our first indicator of how next season's looking, it could be an interesting one. We had a big announcement today concerning the next PlayStation tournament for PS4 and PS5, and we also got our first word this season of what's going on with the Champions Console Cup. Are we getting a console FNCS this season? So we had the announcement go out on PlayStation's official website. They said, prepare for the Fortnite PlayStation Cup in partnership with Epic Games. You'll gear up and board the battle bus as you build and fight in solo battle royale. So they haven't changed the fact that it's solo, but it is battle royale. It is not no building. The PlayStation tournament is back to being building, and after the last disaster of the PlayStation No Building Cup, it's no surprise. If you guys missed my videos on that, basically it just resulted in a whole bunch of people teaming in cars. No one was fighting. A whole bunch of people got banned. It was arguably one of the worst tournaments in Fortnite history. So they've gone back to the regular battle royale, which most people are going to be really happy about. But they did make this strange announcement in this one as well, that the first place prize is also now a PlayStation 5, which I find really strange because I'm assuming 99.9%, if not 100% of people who will win this tournament will be on next-gen console. Next-gen PlayStation 5 just has a huge advantage over PS4 just because of the processing power. It just holds way more frame rate. It has less input delay. It's just a better console all around. So giving the person who wins this tournament, who is almost definitely going to be on a PS5, another PS5 seems a bit strange, but it does still have prize money attached as well. But the main thing that was very important in this announcement, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, was get ready for 3 days of intense gameplay and use the experience to prepare you for upcoming Fortnite Console Champions Cup. That doesn't necessarily mean it's this season. It does say upcoming, which makes me think it's this season, but you've got to remember FNCS right now is running up pretty much ultimately right up until the new season. So right now, grand finals of FNCS is going to end on the 29th. The new season is set to start on either the 3rd or the 5th based on the current information we have about the battle pass. So that does leave a few days, pretty much 3 days, to run a Console Champions Cup, and that's exactly what happened last season. So it makes me think that is when the Champion Console Cup will run, which is a bit unfortunate to see. I don't really like seeing these console cups, the only really major console cup that Xbox gets to play in with PlayStation, running on the last few days of the season when everyone's really bored of the season and just over it in general. I feel like if you're only going to give console one singular tournament a season, because I'm not counting PlayStation, because yes, that is on console, but it's not for everyone. It's only if you're on PlayStation, because Sony is partnered with Epic Games. The only console cup a season for prize money just being shoved into the last 3 days like it's an afterthought, like, oh, here you go, console community, just take this. That's what it feels like. And you might think I'm being a little bit dramatic. You gotta remember, I'm not even a console player. I just really think that the console community is one of the most untapped sources for Epic to just generate a bunch of hype around competitive right now. Again, I would be arguing that the next dailies that start next season should be console and PC split. And a lot of PC pros will get mad about me saying that, but you don't have to throw a huge console prize pool. Even no prize pool, and console players will be happy just versing each other. But I think they do deserve a prize pool, but generating the hype in that scene just builds the entire competitive scene. Those console players will now watch the PC tournaments more to see how they can improve. They'll see how they're going. They'll see if the PC tournament is that much harder than the console cup. It just fosters that whole competitive scene I've been talking about. So that's why I get so frustrated when I feel like the console community is just not getting enough tournaments for what they're worth, because I get it. Console is not as competitive as PC. Almost no one is going to argue that. Pretty much everyone understands that. But that doesn't mean investing some money and giving them proper tournaments isn't going to grow the entire competitive scene and make the PC and console community happier as a result. But let's go through this PlayStation Cup, and the format looks pretty good. They have a round 1 and round 2 format here. It looks like round 2 is Victory Royales worth 32 points. Round 1 is worth 25. Elims are worth 1 in each, so they aren't actually making the eliminations worth more, which sounds very interesting, because normally that's how they do their scoring formats for Fortnite at the moment. They make eliminations worth more in the final rounds. If you look at the prize pool, it looks pretty good though. The first place on NA East is going to get 1,600. First place on 1,600. First place on EU is going to get 2,000. It goes right down on EU to top 50. Remember, this is solos though, so not everyone's going to get prize money on solos. NA East, only top 30 are going to get it, so it's still a good amount of money. It's only for PS4 and PS5, and I know what you're thinking, Aussie, why haven't you told us when it is? It's because they haven't announced it. I don't really get how you make an announcement about an upcoming PlayStation Cup. You post the rules, you make a whole blog post about it, but I cannot anywhere for the life of me find the date or time for this tournament. I've checked the rules for the official rules on the Epic Games website. I've checked the actual website. I've checked the compete tab. I cannot see it. So if you know when this tournament is, let everyone know in the comments down below and I'll pin it, but I cannot see anywhere for where this tournament is running. Less than 2 days after announcing the $200,000 Fortnite LAN event in Sweden, Dreamhacks just announced another tournament even sooner. We now have a Fortnite Battle Royale Solos tournament at Dreamhack Dallas on June 3rd. So that's even before Sweden. Now, the thing is, because it's so close around the corner, only has a quarter of the prize pool, it doesn't seem like as many of the international pros like EU are going, but this is a chance for all of the NA pros who can't make it to Sweden to go to Dallas, and it's looking pretty fun, even though it's $25,000, and I really shouldn't say only $25,000. That's still a very big deal. If you actually look at the prize split, it's quite nice. $8,000 for first. But the thing that I love that a lot of pros are talking about is it's not even about the money. It's also about the LAN experience and exposure. We have to hope that big Fortnite LAN events are going to come back in some way or continue to be a thing through Dreamhack. So even if you go and don't make money, the experience you got is invaluable. But this could also be a chance for a lot of you guys who maybe just want to go who are in NA to just try out and play in a LAN. The issue we had was, and it looks like Dreamhack has opened up this tournament in Dallas for quite a while to sell tickets to other esports like Counter-Strike, League of Legends, and other games they offer. So when the Fortnite tickets went on sale, the VIP tickets for bring your own PC to play was sold out in like half an hour. So a whole bunch of pros haven't been able to get tickets. So I'm hoping they're going to release more tickets or try to figure out something with this, because if a whole bunch of people couldn't go, I don't even know how the qualifiers are going to work if not that many people are there. I'm sure Dreamhack will come up with some kind of a solution, but I would love to tell you right now, like, if you guys want to go, jump on the website, buy a ticket. They're all sold out. They're, at this point, there's no way to go unless you're going to rebuy a ticket off someone else. But I have to imagine they'll resell some tickets or bring something out. Like we saw with Sweden, there was actually multiple phases to them selling tickets. So maybe they're going to unlock another phase for this. But hey, it means we have 2 Fortnite LAN events in the next month and a half. One in NA, one in EU. And there's some notable pros already going to NA as well. I think I've seen Reek going so far. TK talked about going. There's a whole bunch more that I'm sure will go once they can get their hands on some tickets. But funnily enough, this looks like it's either the first day of the new season or it's going to be the last day of this current season. So I don't really know exactly where that's going to fall, but it's going to be pretty funny if this is first day of a new season. I actually probably wouldn't be too mad about that, seeing which pro can adapt, but I will say for competitive integrity, I would prefer for it to be on this season so people know what's going on. But I mean, come on, it'd be kind of funny to see them have to play. That'd give me the old skirmish days where like people would log on for my giant LAN events and like there was a huge update the day of. But hey, more Fortnite LAN events. It's super exciting. We did have our last FNCS qualifier round 1 opens, and there was no real notable teams that missed out. There was a few last couple of rounds in EU, but this time I can't really honestly find any big names that people were expecting to miss out that did. I did want to mention there was one big name that qualified that a lot of people weren't expecting, and that was Ron. Not because people didn't expect that Ron would make it out of opens, just I don't think people like myself expected Ron to play opens. So seeing Ron qualify was really exciting. He did only qualify by a couple points, but I will give Ron his credit here. He did start very, very late, and in his last game, he was sweating it off and then got bored and went super aggressive. So they could have done far better, but they qualified. That's all that matters. And we've been talking about how few people are playing FNCS and what's going wrong with FNCS, and seeing one of the big names come back and play and seem to have a lot of fun with it was quite exciting. And it makes me very, very excited to watch them in the round 2 tomorrow. I will be doing a viewing party on my Twitch channel as always, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. We have a bunch of drops for you guys to win some cool stuff if you haven't already got the drops. I did want to give a shout out to Slacks and Clarity, who got 198 points and 1 NA East, and Savid and Javko, who got 206 and 1 on EU. All right, guys, that does it for another video. If you enjoyed, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.